Welcome, everyone. This is Denise, and you are with Global Voice 2012. We're going to give this another shot. We had difficulties last night, and our program was abruptly ended midway through part of Rick Minuteman's discussion. Today is July 16th, and I would like, of course, to welcome Drake. Drake, you are live, and we have also Rick is with us, and Lady Dragon. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Denise.
Glad to have you with us again tonight. I'm crossing fingers that we'll be here. And let our listeners know that we hope to get the questions answered that we were unable to answer last night. Drake and Rick are going to, and Lady Dragon are going to give just a few minutes of kind of a recap of where we left off last night. And with that, then we will continue to answer your questions, hopefully. And thank you for your patience, everyone. Go ahead, Drake.
Well, I'm going to add some news to the mix. This is fun. It seems that the Senate decided that the Law of the Sea Treaty was not a good idea.
Oh, imagine that.
And it's being reported that it's sinking in the Senate.
Oh, my.
On Davy's website, D-E-V-V-Y. She's got a website, and she reports all kind of stuff. That's one down. The next thing would be basically that the call-out that Rick made is designed to start the process of connection. And if you're already connected and everything's already in order, proceed is what I would suggest. Now, there are several things that go into that. A whole lot of forethought, planning, and things of that nature. If somebody is interested in completing the process or furthering it, or they're already organized and ready to go, you might want to give me a buzz. You can get a hold of me through email, include your phone number, and I'll call you back. And you can do that through the website. Let's see, American National Militia or Global Voice 2012.us, I believe, right?
Right, yeah. The Global Voice email address is onefreepeople@gmail.com.
There we go. I knew somebody knew what I was talking about. So anyway, that's one down. We got two more to go. From what I understand, the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, is gaining traction, and that needs to be nipped in the bud big time. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to go about that, but I got some connections that I made recently that may be able to help. Other than that, I heard that Lady Dragon's got some news, if she wouldn't mind letting us know about it.
Yes, hello, Drake and everyone. Rick, Denise.
Hello. Good evening, Lady Dragon.
Yesterday, we were trying to talk about getting people organized and everything. And I got a news yesterday night that was very interesting from Iceland. Iceland has been on the forefront of all this. They're the first one that went against the bankster, and then they're the one who forgive mortgages to the citizens. And now they are hiring ex-cops to hunt down the bankers that wreck its economy. So what Rick and Drake were saying yesterday, to get organized with your FBI forces and your police forces to arrest the criminals that are in power, it has already started in Iceland. Isn't that interesting, people?
Yeah, it's interesting how that seems to be going on as America wants to put its foot forward, too. And, well, hey, maybe we'll just start something here and see some other countries finish it up.
Yeah, yeah. So this is very interesting because people that were not too sure about how to go about it, it's very simple. Get organized, which I always said since day one. Know your mayor, your sheriff, your journalist, your lawyers, everybody, get together, you know, and then when it's going to be time to be called upon, you'll be ready. Now I got some news tonight from the Vatican. They're in more trouble now because stuff are coming out, more detail about what happened with the banking thingy. The news here that I've got is the Vatican Bank is reportedly under investigation for laundering millions for mafia godfather. And they're naming names. It's not up in the air news, you know. They're saying, well, it's all Italian name. They're saying the Sicilian mafia boss, godfather Matteo Messina Denaro, and Father Nini Trepiedi are the two of the names that mentioned in this episode. So things are starting to come out at the forefront of things. And I know there's a lot of situations, people are concerned about Syria. I have a video that where anonymous is not pleased about what's going on there and threaten the Assad government the person in the government to leave their people alone or else they will move in. And on that note of Syria, Russia is involved in that too now. You know, it says here the news that I have here is Russia ready for showdown with UK over arms being transported to Syria in cargo ships. So things are eating up a little bit here, guys.
Yes.
Drake?
Drake may be on
Yeah,
hold.
well, I expected things to take off a little bit. I've got some things I'm going to open up on our website. Everybody's going to get a copy and all that. That's subscribed. That's American National Militia, and there is a subscription to the blog. The other part about it is that I was curious if Rick had found anything out about getting in touch with people and all that.
Yeah, just hold on, Rick. I have one more little news that was a little bit important. It came out late yesterday night. Hillary Clinton was leaving Egypt, and people in Egypt was very angry at her. They threw shoes and tomato at motorcade, you know. So things, like you said, eating up, you know. Go on, Rick.
All right, yeah.
Making salsa, are we?
You want to laugh some more? In the news, the people in the streets were chanting Monica, Monica.
Oh boy. Okay.
So I guess they are very aware and awake over there, I would suppose.
I would guess so. Okay, Rick, go ahead. What you got?
Well, yeah, we started contacting some of the militias, informed them of the announcement. Some of them were aware of it, and some of them weren't. Bear in mind, you know, it's probably, 26 to 28 hours since the announcement was made. We're hoping that our listeners will drive that out global or viral across the Internet. Look, folks, it's going to come down to consensus of numbers. The more numbers get up and scream and make contact with your FBI, your local law enforcement, that could be your county sheriffs, your state police, military contacts. If you have military contacts, you contact them and get other people to join up with you. Look, folks, this ain't no secret what's going on. A lot of people are very aware that a lot of the things that the Congress and the Senate have done this past 3 years has been just detrimental to our life here in America as far as our constitutionality goes. And it's treading on our rights pretty hard. So that's no big secret. A lot of people just don't have an avenue. They don't know how to go or where to go or anything. The neat thing about the announcement made yesterday is everything is perfectly legal. I mean, if you go back and you'll listen to the show, listen very carefully to the announcement. I've seen a couple people say, well, they're going to take things into their own hands. No, that's not the case. That's why the FBI, your LEOs, state and county, and why the military is to be notified that we demand the arrest. This includes everybody legally, lawfully, that's supposed to be included to get it done. And I want to make sure that everybody's clear about that. We did not advocate violence at all. We have given, what we have given is a legal, nonviolent way to proceed with what needs to be done. Now, there's a lot of people out there that say they want their country back. Look, folks, if you want your country back, it was just handed to you on a silver plate. It includes everybody it should to get the job done, but it will be up to everybody to step to the plate. So here again, we need this announcement to go viral. You're going to have to spread it around, and you're going to have to encourage people to step up and participate. People want to know what to do? There you go. Now you know what to do. It's busy. Excuse me. Get busy talking to people, getting them to realize that they must step to the plate. There's a lot of people out there claiming to be patriots. It's all right to be skeptical about things. I've seen some people saying, well, this will never work, blah, 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 blah. Well, look, folks, you don't know if it'll work. You tell me where this has ever been tried or ever done. It hasn't. So this is your chance. Now, we thought this through thoroughly. We examined the legalities of it. Notice no FBI is coming to gather me up. It's 28 hours old. Something tells me I ain't going to see no FBI in my driveway no time soon because they know that everything that was said yesterday is legal and lawful. Nobody can argue that. So here you go, folks. It's up to you. It's in your hands. Your freedom is now in your hands. What are you going to do with it? That's what we need to know.
Oh, that sounds like fun. And if people think I'm going to leave them alone and not be harping about this, you're wrong. If anybody needs my direct input, I don't have a problem with that. People that are alone need to hook up with neighbors and friends, people that are of like mind. If there's only two of you, that's fine. Maybe both of you could go down to another small town and find some other people that are interested, and you can get into an area, eventually build a small group of your own. But this has got to be done. And the reason is that even if the plan was followed, as it has been stipulated it will be, in terms of the military taking in action, they're not going to come much below governor, if that far. They're going to be busy with the other ones. So, you know, and there's been questions as to the legality of a citizen's arrest. Well, there is a difference between detention for a law enforcement officer on an infraction that doesn't mean a whole lot. That can be drunk driving or being stupid or whatever. On this level, any citizen can arrest another citizen for crimes against the country. You can look it up, 12 Ways from Sunday, slice and dice it all you want, but that's the plain fact of it. And I've got 2 or 3 people that would like to take issue with the idea that a person can do so. Well, we also got people taking issue with the idea that freedom is even available. We've got people taking issue with whether or not the sky is blue and how high is up. some people just like to argue from what I'm seeing, irrespective. And it doesn't matter about the research. If you take a good look, and it don't take much research, you'll find that that is basically the case. So you all can run with it. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm ready for questions.
Okay. What did you think of the opening song there, Drake?
I like that. I really do.
Okay. I thought you would. You referred to it yesterday, so. Okay.
Excuse me, Denise?
Go ahead, Lady Dragon.
Okay, one late news that came out at very last minute, this was news from Cobra. I spoke with Cobra this afternoon, and he said he would put article up before the show so people can read it. And he's talking about how is the square between Pluto, Uranus, and Mars. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert in astrology, but the point of the matter is it's a week that people cannot do things out of fear or anger. It has to be out of will, you know, and people have to remain calm and peaceful. Okay, he said also that violence will not overthrow the cabal, which is very important, which is what Rick and Drake said. So he's backing what Rick and Drake said. So he gives important information about how to assemble and do things. So I would advise that I just put the article up, so to go to ladydragon.com and read his article. It's very interesting because it concurs with what we said yesterday and tonight.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lady Dragon. And I will add that on Drake's website, under, which is, AmericanNationalMilitia.com, if you go to the Updates/Links tab and then scroll down to LadyDragon.com, Canada, and then to the subheading News Headlines from Lady Dragon, you will get the latest news that Lady Dragon is sharing with us there, and it will be updated on at least a daily basis, if not more often if there's something earth-shattering that comes up. And also, I would like to point out that Drake has shared with all of us, yesterday he shared a time for action, which was basically written form of the notice that Rick gave us yesterday. And then we added today, Think and Relate, which should be shared with everyone, and Violation Worthy of Arrest. And do you want to elaborate on those links there, Drake?
Well, a lot of people like music, and basically the Think and Relate does a combination of explanation as to music and what it says. All music has some sort of message, even if it's not necessarily healthy for you. These things go directly to a combination of political statement, protest song, that sort of thing. And most of the songs are well known. I would suggest anybody that has a mind to go to the site, and it's right there for everybody to see. The legalities. Was that the list?
The violation worthy of arrest. That was the combined list.
That particular list is a little bit stale. I'd like to have a new list if somebody wants to send one to us. Basically, the way it works is this. You may not screw with the Constitution, the rights and designations within it, without having an amendment to the Constitution. In case anybody doesn't know it, the idea of 9/11 was to cause everybody to riot and go nuts and want to go kill everybody. That didn't work too well. But basically what came out of it on the legal end was an act called Homeland Security. The problem is that there's no way that that thing could have been printed in that short of a period of time. In other words, we're talking about pre-planning. Homeland Security takes away certain portions and certain legal aspects of our basic rights and gives government more control than is allowed within the Constitution. Therefore, anybody who voted for it has a problem, and that problem's name is treason. When anyone goes against the Constitution in a public office, they commit the act of treason. It doesn't matter whether they like it or not. That's the bald-faced point of things that they need to get stuck with. That list that was on the well-regulated American militia site, everybody was complaining it's too short of a list. So therefore, I decided that you might want to have a bigger list. And that's basically what this goes to. Now, it's a breach of oath of office, it's obstruction of justice, and a whole bunch of other things rolled all up in one nice, neat package. And it is public record. So not too many ways that you could deny that, no matter how you like to slice it. The reason I put it up was to give people an idea as to how far this can go. Now, back to those arrests. Well, if one of these treasonous people show up in your area and you are in a position to be organized and in conjunction with law enforcement, you can take that person into custody and put them in the local clink. And it don't matter who it is, senator, congressman, doesn't matter. These are the kind of actions, and I mean this quite directly, these are the kind of actions that will cause the rest of them to totally reverse course, rethink what they've done, and things of this nature. Now, that does not necessarily mean that they won't be prosecuted. You can lessen the charge maybe to violation of oath of office, slap them with a fine, and so long as they don't have multiple cases of the same problem, maybe you can just let them off with that, and then let them know that if they do it again, they go to jail, period. This sort of example is what it's going to take. One or two, and the rest of them will go, oh my, I hope I'm not next. Maybe I need to change the way I am and what I'm doing and be very careful about not screwing it up so that I end up in the pokey. And this is very simply the idea. So the crux of it is that things need to be taken in hand. As soon as these things are started to be taken into hand by the people, you'll find that there are a lot more people willing to go along with the program. The program's simple, and it's contained all in one word, and that word's freedom. Now, you go to that think and relate, and you think about what I've stated about the songs I put on there. I got 4 songs I put up, and each one of them really says quite a bit. The ideology of being stuck in terms of a rut, you can't get out of it, you can't go sideways, you can't move. The idea that corporations and businesses have taken over. The idea of what's going on right now in terms of the extraordinary illegality of a lot of the things that are going on, executive orders, legislation, etc. And then, at the end of it, there's a little thing called freedom. And that is the reason for what I'm doing and most of everybody I know. And believe me, I'm an old man. I've done mine. I've lived my life, raised kids. I want them kids to have a shot. I want them to be able to, by their hard work, come out with something better than what I got. And no, you're not going to be 100% successful each and every time with every child born. Some of them are not going to listen. There's probably quite a few of those that probably sort of do that anyway, just for the fun of it. But there are some hardcore cases where there ain't much anybody can do because it's the individual that has to make their decision. And so you might not win in every case, but that brings us back to something. Nobody can be responsible for another person because that individual person will make up their own mind according to what they feel like they ought to do at the time. Might not be the right decision, like somebody being drunk and deciding they're going to walk around on a roof. That tends to be painful if you're not real careful. But the idea of taking the issue to task, making it your own, and going after the prize, to me is well worth it. And I think everybody out there listening probably knows that I put my butt on the line pretty heavy in being involved in this to the extent I have. And I'm not going to quit. It's like the country song says about country boy can survive. You can't stop us out and you can't make us run. Well, I'm still here, still pumping along. Hopefully they won't get nasty about it. But I don't think there's any reason to. As Rick said, it's been quite a few hours. If they were going to come see us, they already would have done that. Now, I will say one thing. I got a nice heads up. I got a compliment. And it's something that meant a lot to me. People in what are called military fly zones are used to jets going over. And these guys are out there training, figuring out what they can do, what they can't do with a jet, how to fly it around different obstacles or under different conditions and that sort of thing. But I'm going to tell you, I made that announcement, and they cut us off on Sunday. And I said, wow, okay. I wonder what is going to happen next. It wasn't too much longer, and they did a flyover on Sunday afternoon over my house with a jet. Now, they weren't shooting at nothing. They didn't drop no bombs. It was a salute, if you will, of a sort.
Yeah, you said they tipped their wing, right? Right, Drake?
Yes, they did. They tipped their wings when they went over the house. That's the salute from an aircraft. I'm not used to that sort of accolade. I'm not used to that sort of recognition. But I now, on this show publicly, return that salute with a big thank you. Unless anybody else has got something to add, I'd like to go to questions, if that's all right.
Yes, it sure is, Drake.
I would love to add something real quick here, just about a minute or two. I can't help think that there was FBI yesterday, law enforcement, and even military.
You're breaking up, Rick.
Is that any better?
Cannot hear you.
Yeah, we're having trouble hearing you.
Try it again.
All right. Well, is this better? Am I clear?
That's much better. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay. We just had to take a few steps to the right. I'm along with Drake. I salute the military back. We appreciate everything that they've done for the country. I can't help but think that yesterday, every FBI agent that was patriotic, every soldier, every law enforcement agent that was listening to the show yesterday probably cheered to hear what was said, because it's a great move, and it's a great time to make the move. And, well, I'm ready for questions.
We all salute all of you, too. I want you to know that. All of you are amazing, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, let's go to some questions. All right. This question seems to be coming up in emails, chat room, etc. Please have someone talk about a plan of action. Just calling the FBI is a little bit broad. They're wanting specifically to know, like when they approach the FBI, etc., how do they go about it? What do they say to the FBI? Maybe sample letters that could be written or something of that nature.
Hey, Rick.
Okay. Look, folks, whenever you address these people, remember to be respectful. Don't be hateful. Don't throw them a bunch of rhetoric. Stick to the point. Remind the FBI of why they exist in our nation today. They exist to protect our rights. That was the reason they were created, folks. Look up the history of the FBI. Send them a link to the history of the FBI. Some agents might not be aware of the history of the FBI the way that they should. And tell them, look, you know, we don't want violence. We want to be law-abiding people, but we're not going to stand around and let these people do this to us no more. And we need their assistance.
Okay.
So basically, you're going to be asking them for their assistance, and then we expect you to do the very same thing to your sheriff and your state police. Be respectful. Respect goes a long, long ways. And,
Rick, there
and make sure
excuse me. There seems to be not so many questions about like the state police and the sheriff's department, but when it comes down to regular like city law enforcement, people are a little bit concerned because they're saying like they can see that their city police are taking orders from the rich, and they're beating up the Occupy protesters and that kind of thing, and they're hesitant to approach city and local police.
Well, that's where they've got to get over their fear. You know, I understand that we will be contacting some entities that's not going to be willing to help, and that's going to say a lot for them.
Right.
You got to remember, this is just the start of things, folks. This is how we get it off the ground. This is your airplane taking off down the runway. When it gets enough speed up, it's going to get up off the ground. It's going to start to fly. As it flies, it gains more altitude. It gains more speed. The more stable it becomes in the air. Same principle applies with this. We're not flying an airplane, but we're taking off a new project. We're going to show these people that, by golly, there'll be a price to pay. And the way we're going to do it is legally and lawfully and within the restraints of law and nonviolently. It's a good plan. It involves everybody it needs to involve. So don't be hesitant to ask for the assistance of these people. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of the show. The more viral this message goes out, the more call goes out to each patriot out there. Each patriot that steps to the plate means more and more numbers. Now, America itself has millions, I mean literally millions of patriots out there that would agree to what's being said. Now, we can only get the announcement virtually out there, but it's going to take all of our listeners to spread it around and encourage people to step up to that. And that's where this thing's going to either be made or... So, you know,
okay.
We've done our homework, folks. We've done all the homework for you. We've gave you the solution. Now it's up to you all.
I want to add something.
Go ahead.
Real simple. When you talk to somebody in law enforcement, don't matter if it's the cop on the beat, the dude's driving in the car, or whatever, you come up friendly, like, first of all, and you ask them, can I talk to you a minute? 90% of them don't have nobody to talk to because they are a policeman. I treat policemen like regular people, and they just love it to death for the simple fact, ooh, he's liable to give me a ticket, or ooh, he might take me to jail for something, or ooh, in general. This fear of that is gotten over real quick when they find out that you're not a troublemaker, but you're just curious.
Curious and concerned.
You ask, you're going to get one of two things. Yeah, I'm interested in that, or, no, man, I don't want to hear that. His partner might say, I'd like to hear what he has to say. And if you do not come off like a nutcase, and I mean that quite literally, if you do not come off like some kind of nut, and you start babbling a bunch of stuff about NWO and Agenda 21 and all that gobbledygook, forget that. Leave that to the side. That's already a given fact. What you want to do is you want to say, hey, we're trying to put together an effort so that we don't have to take orders from politicians in general, that we don't have to worry about somebody bribing somebody and getting the wrong kind of instructions to the police and causing us problems, or the other way around. We want to make sure that this comes out right, and we're asking for everybody's help, you guys included. Now, even the guy that might object to it will hear that. And you can, any kind of contact information is cool. Generally, you can catch me over there. I'm in that restaurant having coffee every night about such and such time. Don't be surprised if they don't show up with some of their buddies. Hey, man, we heard some stuff about that. Can you tell us a little about that? And you go from there. So that's all I wanted to add.
Just think of them just like your everyday next-door neighbor, right, Drake?
Basically, yes. Treat them with a little respect.
They put their pants on the same way we all do.
And away you go.
Exactly. Okay.
Well, that's professionalism.
Yep.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, a couple more quick questions. Could Drake and Minuteman elaborate a little bit more or give us more information on federal marshals?
In terms of federal marshals, they're out there.
Okay, like how would one contact a federal marshal? Would they be like listed in the phone book as your federal marshals?
I would believe so.
Okay.
If not, the FBI knows how to get in touch.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Could Drake or Minuteman or both explain the logistics of making a citizen's arrest?
Well, that's basically pretty simple. You exercise your constitutional right as a citizen. You tell the person what they're being charged with, and you detain that person. Now, generally, it's a good idea to be more than one. Most of our representatives are not in the greatest physical shape in the world because they've been sitting on their butts too much. The secondary part of that is that we do not intend to do any harm to you, but we are taking you to the local jail and entering you in, and the charges preferred will be a sign-in situation where you charge that person with treason. At that point, then the sheriff or policeman makes the arrest. In some cases, you may find that these people will tell you you first of all didn't have any right to do that. Well, you do when the individual involved is contrary to our country, our way of life, our freedoms, etc. And in some cases, and this is going to happen, I'm going to tell you before it does, in some cases you're going to find police forces in terms of a station that will not entertain that and might want to put you in jail. So be prepared for the idea that that may happen. They're not acting correctly. This is one of the reasons for more than one person. And it's also a good idea to have somebody set up to assist you. Go ahead.
And I'm sure there's probably...
like Lady Dragon said, I want to remind everybody that you should be recording this.
Yes.
Any action you take, make sure it is recorded.
Yes. And I would assume you could probably even just, like, Google citizen's arrest and probably find the actual verbiage that you would want to use in, trying to vocalize to somebody a citizen's arrest.
That too. There's a lot of ways. This is the beginning of the justice everybody has been looking for. This is the beginning of the people exerting their right and their control over the government. That's not going to be an easy road. There's going to be some bumps, but the better prepared you are, the better situated you are. If you have gotten in touch with different law enforcement officers in different places, then you may have a greater acceptance that this man did do something wrong, and I'm preferring charges. And then they have to be adjudicated on those charges at the very least in general.
Okay, great. All right, let's see. We have a couple more quickies, and we'll start taking our callers. Let's see. Do you think that the announcement that is supposed to be made tomorrow by Sheriff Joe will make any difference into getting Obama out of power? If so, how?
Absolutely. The man's not in office legally and can be removed for fraudulent reasons rather than impeached. When you impeach someone, that means that you give the validity to them holding the office. This is the reason that the idea of or ideal of impeachment would not be the correct manner in which to handle the situation. A fraud charge, providing false paperwork under false pretenses, obstruction of justice, and all that sort of thing, then you start causing problems that are outside of the realm of acknowledgement that that person should be in that office. That's the way it should be handled.
Okay, and I don't know if this will ring any bells, but somebody asked, what was the hot news that you talked about last Friday, which that you did not get a chance to divulge on Sunday? I think we pretty much got everything out on Sunday, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and that was one of the hot news tips. I've got a few others I'm going to put in Wednesday's show. Basically, the idea that it's time for everybody to exert their citizenship rights for the first time in their life, probably. If you don't know what those are, do a Google search on that, too. If somebody has questions as to the legal authority that an individual has, those can be looked up. Now, there are several people who object to these things on a certain basis that deals with some of the origins of common law. Those instances that they are citing are not correct. And if they'll look, each one of these people that have objected, and I get the emails, has suggested that there is no basic right because we are not, as such, legal citizens. The problem is that you are exercising legal authority over a corporate entity under a corporate office, and supposedly this comes under certain restraints and controls that are outside of the scope of a regular everyday citizen or person. That could be the case if it was if the individual was being pursued under either commerce or a professional standing of a corporate entity. This is not how they're being pursued. They're being pursued for breach of their contract, which is their oath of office, which subjects them to everything that oath of office states they are to be and how to act and actions that they can legally take. When a person is subject to illegality in terms of either fraud or treason, then you're stepping outside to an extent of the corporate control that would limit your ability to take your action. And that's as far into legalities as I want to go.
Okay. I think we're ready to start taking callers. The Lady Dragon, did you have something you wanted to say just a moment ago?
No, no, I just wanted to concur with what Rick said, that, and what Drake said, which I always say, you have to have a group, just one by yourself that with no recording. It's always your word against somebody else's word, so be 30 people, 50 people, 100 people, everybody with their cell phone, the camera, whatever, and document this, don't be just one person, they will change their mind if you are like 100 person going to the police station, then just be one person, just like that, and like Drake and Rick said, make your research before and prepare before, know what you're saying, what it is that you're arresting, make research, become your own personal investigator of the situation,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lady Dragon. Appreciate that.
Well,
all right. I think we're ready to take some callers. All right. Johnny from Wisconsin, thank you very much for your patience, sir. You are live.
Hello, folks.
Hi, Johnny.
Hello, Johnny.
Hey, if people want to find out about citizens' arrests, they can maybe watch an old rerun of Andy Griffith and listen to Gomer Pyle. Remember that classic?
There we go.
Citizens arrest. Anyway, I have prepared two quick questions and a very important brief comment. Question one, if you read yesterday's Cobra message and the mind-blowing links, it becomes even more clear how twisted these controller individuals are and how many minions they have. And when you stop to think about it, it seems like there must be millions involved. Many in the military and police forces are not independent thinkers, and they blindly follow orders. So, Drake, what do your sources say about how many people total will potentially be arrested, and can that many people actually be rounded up?
Well, that's why I've been stipulating that the military is going to be busy. They're going to have their hands full. They've got people within their ranks they know are dirty they've left in place so that the people don't get the heads up that something's going on. I'm going to suggest that the total number is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 million people.
Wow.
And that is a lower end of the scale. It could be many more than that, and it depends upon several things. The action to be taken are not going to be taken against people who help. They may have charges preferred against them later that can be minimized by the judges. There's an old saying that squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, if somebody gets arrested and they know where all of the skeletons are in a closet and they have documentation for that, even if they're kind of nasty, I would be inclined not to kill them, for one thing. I'd be inclined maybe to give them a reasonable sentence, maybe even put them in charge of a cell block or something. I mean, there's a feeling of let's try not to just turn everybody into hamburger. And this is part of what I'm talking about right here. The idea that a person could be involved, they may be superficially involved, but they also may know a whole lot of stuff that can assist us. And in that sort of a case, do you fully adjudicate somebody? My suggestion is that that would not be the correct thing to do. My suggestion would be to allow that person some leniency in terms of what you come out with against them. And that would be my position on that particular thing.
Keith Scott, about a month ago, said his sources said there would be 300,000. But I just, if it's 2 million, is that feasible? That's what comes to my mind. Is it actually feasible to round up 2 million people?
Absolutely. Keith Scott is right in terms of people who would be in an officiate capacity. In other words, there's some sort of official in some capacity or another directly connected with the government. The other portion of this comes from the bagmen, the runners, the financiers, and the people behind the scenes that have been pulling all these fun and games and pulling the strings of the puppets that they control. That is the difference. And that 2 million is conservative, I'm telling you. Okay?
Question 2. Yesterday, Greg Giles, via a channeled message supposedly from the Galactic Federation of Light, wrote that Timothy Geithner had been arrested. Today he writes, this is a quote, "A frontal assault has been carried out, taking into custody many hundreds of members of the criminal cabal and some of their underlings here in cities such as Atlanta, Pittsburgh and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Dayton, Ohio, Bloomington, Minnesota, Aspen, Colorado, Peoria, Illinois, Sacramento, California, and within the state of Delaware." Also, today there is a channeled report that North Korea's leader and military leader are both in containment by the spiritual hierarchy. Can you verify these stories, or are they even potentially realistic?
Well, my first answer went to a person called Timothy Geithner. And when I see that he's no longer around, I would tend to believe that somebody has snatched him. Number 2, my understanding is that these entities are willing to work with locals in terms of making sure that these people are handled correctly. In other words, the directive they have is to do no harm. This is the reason that they would take somebody. This way they're absolutely safe from us doing something nasty to the individual and messing our own karma up. Now, a lot of people don't understand karma, so I'll give a quickie. That's the spiritual baggage that you carry with you when you do stuff. It can be good, it can be bad, and it depends on what you did. Now, going back to this, I would request, as I have with Greg Giles, show me. And by show me, I mean show that there is a vacancy. Now, you know, that would be nice if that's possible. If they don't feel, and I'm talking about the ETs, angels, or whatever these things are, if they don't feel that's possible, then I have 2 recommendations. One is that they make sure that they get any kind of a clone so that the person they supposedly took off with can't show back up again. And the second part of it is that if you are taking this number of people in these many diverse locations, eventually it's going to make a newspaper, it's going to make a small radio station or TV station somewhere. And when that starts coming out, then you have validity to back up what's been stated. And I'm not saying that Greg Giles is wrong. I'm not saying that this did not happen. I'm saying I don't know because I wasn't there. Now, if I'm in the same room with somebody and we're getting ready to make a citizen's arrest and Scotty, whoever that may be, beams their butt out of the room, then I will be more than a believer at that point. That hasn't happened yet. So I'm still sitting back watching the show. If this is real, then you're going to find holes in the financial and political scene that cannot be covered very long. So if these things have taken place in the last day or so, a few hours or whatever, I'd give it 2, maybe 3 days, and it's going to start making the news whether anybody likes it or not. And at that point, then, if it's reported that heads of state are contained, people are missing, be that Tim Geithner or whomever it might be, then we're looking at something that is more of a reality than anything that I could produce at this point. So I'm going to leave it up in the air. When we start seeing them missing and things like that, then, you know, there we go.
Okay, and then I just had one quick last comment, and then I'll bow out. Let me preface my comments by saying that I respect all of you, and I have not lost my blind faith that this world, this reality, will experience significant positive change soon. Don't you love that word, soon? There are indeed many signs that there is a mass awakening and that we are on the cusp of massive change based on what is supposedly happening behind the scenes, in addition to the obvious full-court press that the Illuminati is putting on. There are also signs based on what has not happened, such as martial law, World War III, and there also seem to be fewer chemtrails these days. So allow me to play devil's advocate for just a moment, and I think I speak for many others with the following objective and frustrating observations. I'm not trying to shoot the messengers here, but the fact is that not one prediction, forecast, or deadline has materialized. Not from you, Drake, not from Benjamin Fulford, Cobra, David Wilcock, or from the multitude of channeled messages from ETs, Ascended Masters, or Archangels, although there have been a lot of idle promises made. We have gone through the 999, 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 11, solstices, equinoxes, solar flares and eclipses, full moons, cosmic triggers, global meditations, mass protests, and more. And there are more rumors than you can shake a stick at and unlimited speculation. It's become quite a circus, and some of it's totally ridiculous. It's become chaotic and very confusing. So very little, if any of this, can be confirmed or verified as factual. The legitimacy of the sources of the information cannot be confirmed, nor can the information itself. Factor in the purposeful disinformation campaign, and it makes it nearly impossible to discern the truth. No source is held accountable. So it seems to me that until a major event actually occurs, all of this drama and craziness is irrelevant. What are your thoughts about the lack of accountability, and what suggestions do you have for people as to how to discern the truth?
Well, I would suggest that you decide to take some of your capability to do some research and start checking some things out. One of the projects that was completed deals with paperwork, has notification to the Hague. And on the day that the package arrived, and it was not supposed to arrive, and they could not intercept it, the day that it arrived, you had over 300 heavy-hitting and high-level financiers and bankers who ran for cover. They knew this was coming. That's one. There are several others if you care to do the homework necessary to coordinate your dates. I told people that the central banking system was going to go down. Neil Keenan filed a lawsuit. He filed a set of liens. The liens are still valid and in place in Europe. That's the reason that the European Union is having so much problem. There is going to be a refiling here in the States of that same lien, only this time with greater and broader and more in-depth and more concise evidence. Now, by evidence, I'm talking about documentation that states who, what, when, where, how much, who got paid, where the money went, etc. Now, a lot of people have discounted some of the things that have been put out, and that's your choice. Be my guest. That's fine. But I do respectfully request that if someone wants to really disagree, that they do more than just the lack of substantial disagreement on a factual basis. Fact is that there are a lot of things that have happened according to certain timetables that people are not aware of. And just because a person is not aware does not mean that there was not a happening. Now, a lot of people will make assumptions. Sit back and watch the fireworks. That means it's going to happen on the 4th of July. Well, there was a happening on the 4th of July. I'm going to tell you, look it up. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I get informed about these things. A lot of people don't. Now, I'm going to start sharing some of the insider information. directly to me in email form from some of the key people. I've already worked out a deal where I can do this. And you're going to start finding that certain portions of the information that has been garnered has been misinformation, specifically the press. And to take this the second level further, so far, if anybody has been made aware of some of the inside information I get, they can validate everything I've said. I've been saying 2 weeks or sooner, by the way, or 2 weeks. That gets old. So I haven't been giving any time frames. I have found out what the time frames are, what the actions are to be taken, and have been receiving instructions as to presentation and how much information I'm allowed to release. This is one of the reasons that I talked to Rick Light about making that announcement that was made Friday, Sunday. The reality of it is that it was a request. The reality of it is that it's a partnership, and the partnership is this. You have certain people in certain positions who would love nothing better than to have this country set free, and this includes a lot of our military. The partnership that we are looking to start in terms of local sheriffs, FBI, etc., is one that will bring in the military. They will be able to act after we accomplish a couple of things on our own. This is to both our benefits. Whether people understand that or not is not my problem. As I say, do your own homework and look it up, and you'll find the answers you're looking for. That's basically it.
And I appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Johnny. Okay. Let's see. Drake, it's about the top of the hour. Can we take like about a 5-minute break and before we take our next couple callers?
That's fine with me.
Okay. If y'all don't mind, we'll take a quickie break and be back in just about 5 minutes. Okay, and we're back. I hope everybody had enough time to make a quick pit stop and get a little beverage or something of that nature. And shall we continue with some more callers? Okie dokie. Hopefully we'll get all these people's questions answered. All right, we have Carrie from California. Carrie, you are live with Drake.
Hi, Drake. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hello,
Carrie.
Hi. Hi, Rick. Hello, Lady Dragon.
She may be on hold.
Okay. Can you hear me, Denise?
We can hear you just fine, Carrie. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. One thing first. The email to contact is onefreepeople@gmail.com, correct, through the radio show?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I was on the American Militia website. I can't find the email for that.
I'm not sure there is an email attached to that. Is there, Drake?
I don't think so.
I don't think there is.
We've got the ability, but I never exercised it. You might look into that.
I will get I will get the email directly to Drake. I promise you, Carrie.
Okay. Okay. I emailed and I sent an email. So please.
Okay.
I'm sorry about you getting cut off yesterday. It was quite disconcerting. I have a comment from the other caller. He was talking about all these people and like the channelers. What concerns me is I'm wondering what information, is actually real, like coming out from people like Greg Giles. I read something today where he said that Obama is really a light worker and so forth. And that really disturbs me. And I keep wondering, what side of the fence are these people really on?
That's a very good question. I'll address that. Obama is acting out, and whether he's been given a role to play is unknown. That's possible. The other part of it is that I've been psychically active for years, and anytime ET wants to say something, I get the thought popped into my head. It's like a conversation without talking. And I have been wondering for a long time exactly why people bother with channeling. And I'm going to qualify that. Everybody needs to look that up, for one thing. Number two, if there is a more direct and concise form of communication, I do not see the reason for channeling specifically. This should be well known to anybody that is familiar with the psychic sciences, and yet also I understand there may be a limitation in terms of the individual. They may not be at a high enough operating level in terms of their psychic abilities to communicate telepathically. It has taken me years to learn how to do so. So that is also another possibility. Now, personally, I'd vote, just like if there was an election, and I don't know that there will be, I would personally vote for an empty juice can. That's a quote from a politician who got on several different news stations and stated that they would vote for an empty juice can before they'd vote for Obama. Now, I'm going to qualify some things. This is going to be a little bit longer answer than some people expect, but it's not going to be too long. First, people need to understand lead and lag times. Now, in retail or any other business, you order something, it takes a certain amount of time to get there. So if you know that you're going to need certain things ahead of time, such as winter, you order snow shovels so that they arrive in time for the first snow. You got a few, that sort of thing. In terms of finance, you can add 1 year minimum to some of the financial things that have been going on in terms of when they start showing up. And this is most specifically dealing with a combination of governments and finance, specifically dealing with that sort of an entity. If you'll notice, there are appropriations made a year in advance. You also notice that monies have to be spent totally in order to accrue more. You know you're going to need another 20 grand or whatever to keep the schools running, so the appropriation then is for that extra 20 grand, but you have to spend the money that you have within the kitty completely or almost completely in order to say we're going to have more than that. And you have to remember that is when somebody's making those decisions, that is for following years. That's into the future. And so a lot of the things that Obama got stuck with were partially inherited. Now, if you follow it, and there's a document that I got registered in the Senate Finance Committee called Follow the Money, and it's become rather popular. If you actually go back and look, you'll find that some of the things that Carter did are just now showing up. That's how much of a lag time in terms of things happening. This goes to structure. People got to vote on it. You got to get it approved. Then you have to take it to committee. Then you take it out of the committee, and you got to get it approved again. Ring around the rosy, in my opinion. But that is basically a structural problem. As far as Obama being a light worker, the reading I got on him was not something that I would equate with a light worker. I'm sorry, but my reads, I don't read very many people, and I got close enough of a read to that man to consider him to be a part of the problem. And that's my opinion and answer.
Well, I appreciate it, Drake, very much. I would like to apologize. I said Greg Giles. I believe that the channelings, they're coming from a man named Mike Quincy out of England through channeling through Salah Sooth. I'd like to apologize to Greg Giles.
Well, there's I include all channeling within that grouping. I'm not going to limit it to any individual.
My comment is you know, you talk about David Wilcock and these other people, and I've even talking to a friend of mine who is very intelligent, and I asked him, I said, you know, what agenda are these people promoting? Are they promoting for a free world, or is there you know, an agenda that, you know, maybe a hidden agenda that we don't know about?
They're looking for a free world. Something everybody needs to know about David Wilcock specifically is that he was not involved in politics. He was brought into the mix when some people started explaining to him what's going on. So consequently, he's been shocked at the response, both from people that follow the spiritual end of what he does and the response he's gotten on the political end. So
I appreciate that very much for coming on that. I just
Go ahead.
As far as these arrests go, I mean, how, you know, this is going to be puzzling to some people like myself. You know, we can organize and so forth, but when it comes down to the nit and grit of it, it's we start talking to our, how do we know which people are, you know, doing the good versus like on the state level, and those that are corrupt? I mean, we are in very challenging times right now. There's a lot going on in our world. How do we clean this up?
Can I say something?
It's pretty simple. Look for any kind of an influence that is contrary to what should be done. By that I mean something that would mess with a person's rights. That can be property rights in a small town where you got too many leaves in your yard, or your grass is too tall, or whatever the excuse might be, and that sort of thing. A farmer moves a rock in a stream and the EPA shows up. That sort of garbage. This will tell you who the locals are who are playing the game. Now, there's a second part of this. Each public official is required to submit a full and complete financial disclosure. And I hate to tell you, but somebody that's making 25, 30 grand a year ain't going to be living in a mansion driving a Lamborghini. It don't work that way. So it may not be quite that obvious, but there are ways to take a look at local government structure, which is supposed to be according to the Constitution, and you can discern generally, very quickly, who is and who is not dirty or clean. The idea is that everybody's going to have to learn, and there's a lot of learning to be done. Learning how to go about these things, you start by looking at your basic government structure and the manner in which it's supposed to work. And that is for the people, not against them. That is not to fine someone for leaves in their yard. That is to call the community group and have them take care of it gratis. If they need the grass cut, maybe they're not able anymore to do that. Maybe somebody can formulate a small group that cuts grass for that person when every so often. There's a lot of answers to things that, I got a better idea. That little Coke thing where you flip the switch and the light bulb goes off. That sort of thing is what it's going to take in terms of community activism and organization in order to turn this around. Now, that's only a part of it. The other part is I'm going to supply lists. Now, right now I'm doing the major public lists. There's going to be some other lists that I am getting from some locals here. They're going to out some of the politicians that I know for a fact are questionable, and these people think they're dirty, and they're going to have to supply concise information on that in order to take the action. If you don't got the evidence, you do not go and try to arrest somebody just because you don't like them. So that's basically the answer to it.
Thank you, Drake. And Carrie, thank you very much.
One thing for Carrie before we get her off the line. Carrie, are you in California? Is that correct?
Oh, hang on, I
am in the Los Angeles area, and we're a big state out here. It just seems like this would be a big undertaking for California.
Well, you have a very large militia gathering in California. I personally am in contact with the California State Militia. I would suggest you get a hold of them fellas, ladies and gentlemen that run the California State Militia. They're a very professional outfit. I think you'll be impressed with them. My advice is to get involved to help them out because they will be indulging with what we're doing here.
And okay. Carrie, you can do that.
And they already have their police contacts. Everything's in order. Them people over there are doing a great job. You'll be in good company. So
I am a true American. I am a true American and a patriot, and I am sick and tired of all this stuff and having our rights taken away and saying we can't even grow our own food. We can't give friends and neighbors, a fresh baked basket of chocolate chip cookies, which, I've got to, which just, really bothers me. But it seems like we're underwater.
You got a pen or a pencil?
Yeah, I got a pen.
Look up Tony Burke or Sergeant Gonzalez, and you tell them Minuteman sent you to them. Sergeant
Gonzalez. Well, I hate to tell you, Minuteman, but there's a lot of people with that name in California.
Yeah, but there's only one Sergeant Gonzalez in the California State Militia, and Tony Burke will help you find him, too.
Carrie, again, thank you very much. We have to get to some other callers, honey.
I understand. Thank you. God bless all of you, and I'll look forward to Wednesday. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. I will remind our callers, we're going to try to keep it to one question. We had a lot of people that had questions that got cut off yesterday, and we're going to try and keep it to one question, please. And once your question has been answered, if you would please, if you're listening over the phone, either hang up if you're able to listen to it live on the program on the computer, or press 1 to unraise your hand so that we can allow other callers in, please. Okay, our next caller is Firehawk from Florida. Firehawk, you are live.
Good evening, gentlemen, and Lady Dragon. How you doing?
Just fine, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Question for either one of you. I've been listening, of course, with great attention to what's going on and so forth. Are there any provisions, or would your advice be with regard to U.S. attorneys who ultimately would prosecute a federal case, or federal judges? In other words, swinging back to the legal beagle side of this thing. That's my question.
I would say that we use anyone that is going to stand to the plate to help. I wouldn't want to exclude anybody in any of the legal aspects of the arrest. We spoke of due process yesterday. We all understand, all of us that understand what due process is. It's to ensure a fair trial. It's to ensure all the facts are brought forward in a fair manner. to make sure that a fair judgment is given on the charges. So that would be my answer to that, Firehawk. Maybe Drake can add a little more to that.
My understanding is that we're going to make some changes, and some of those changes are going to be within the so-called justice system. There are some people that are presently in the justice system who have basically not been given a choice as to their rulings. As we remove the power of the cabal, or bad guys, or whatever you want to call them, to influence such things, we will start finding a whole lot better people-oriented interpretation and application of legality and lawfulness. This does not necessarily mean that a whole lot of things are going to suddenly flip. What it means is that instead of being told that a certain person is guilty before they even go to trial, the judge will be informed that he's to apply his wisdom in terms of the application of the law. In other words, when there's mitigating circumstances, these are taken into account, irrespective as to whether or not there are mandatory sentences involved and things of that nature. So there's going to be some changes, and it is coming. Okay?
That sounds very good. Thank you very much. Just one short comment. If somebody can get to Carrie, tell her to send the chocolate chip cookies my way. Good night, gentlemen. By the way,
Thank you very much, Firehawk.
Just a short note. I will be on the air with Save Our Future right after your program goes off. So anybody there is more than welcome to call in.
Save Our Future. If
Thank
you want
gentlemen.
to post a link to that, Firehawk, on the Global Voice 2012, please do so.
We'll do that.
Okay, thank you, Firehawk. Appreciate it as always.
Good night.
Okay. All righty. Okay. We have a gentleman by the name of Phil who, bless his heart, has called in numerous times tonight, and he keeps getting dropped. Phil, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Phil, quick, get your question in before you drop again.
Drake, I really appreciate the help. I've been working on this for years. I don't know if you understand, but I'd like to get in touch with you if I could. Denise told me I could send an email if we could communicate, because I really don't want to talk over the air. Would that be okay?
Yes, that's fine. I recommend that to anybody who has questions that are not answered readily. We're going to be putting together a Q&A area where some questions will be answered to an extent. Now, some of the things I say I can talk about in private cannot be talked about over the air. That's been a request directly from certain authorities. So I will honor that request until such time as I'm told otherwise. Okay?
I will do my very
I've
very
been to
best,
the FBI. I've been to, Sheriff. I need help, and I'd appreciate it if you could help me.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay,
Thank you very
much, Phil, and I'm glad you finally got your question answered.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. We have Michael from Arizona. Michael, you are
Denise.
live. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Drake. How's it going? Somebody called earlier with a question or comment regarding Arpaio's supposed press conference, and it's not my question, but I just had to address this. I live in Phoenix, and Sheriff Joe is my sheriff, and I called his office, and his staff said that they have no information about any supposed press conference, to which everybody seems to throw tons of links to me saying that it is so because it's on the magical interweb. But his office said that there is not going to be a press conference, so I just felt I had to say that because I called the source, and it's not on their website, and the staff said that it's not going to happen. So just in the efforts of furthering the truth as opposed to just what's getting passed around the rumor mill. My question, Drake, is one that's shared by a lot of people in the Global Voice chat presently, and for an example, the congressman in my district is Ed Pastor, the Democrat from Arizona, who was on the original list of enemies of the Republic just to use him as an example, I'm willing to go to my sheriff, who I said is Joe Arpaio, and present information to him and work with him in an effort to get this done. And I think a lot of the people that are listening to you right now and that will listen to the archives are willing to put their necks out and go forward with this. But I think a lot of the holdup with a lot of the people is we feel like we need clear, laid out procedure and access to evidence that will be sufficient enough to not get laughed out of someone's office, albeit a sheriff, member of the FBI, or whatever local enforcement officer that you might happen to approach. Because, as you know, we live in a very litigious society, and if you put your hand on somebody, you can be charged with assault. If you try to ferret somebody away to a sheriff's office, a police station, etc., you could be charged with kidnapping. And these people have, I would venture a guess to say that they have a lot more money and legal representation than most of us will have. So, I mean, I'm willing to do this, and I think a lot of us are, but how can we get the actual proof so that we can take it from there, take the ball and run to the law, you know, the officers of the law, and actually have this have a chance of holding water and getting where we needed to go?
Well, that's basically fairly easy to answer. I just posted a list, had a list posted of people who voted for the Homeland Security Act. The Homeland Security Act goes in direct opposition to the Constitution. Anybody that voted for it is guilty of treason. Now,
okay.
I would specifically suggest that there is a whole bunch of ways to present charges. One of those is directly to a court. Another would be to a combination of both individual and local law enforcement. I suggest that you take local law enforcement and or FBI with you in terms of being able to get them to go. That could be some kind of hard work in order to, you know, convince them that you're for real. Now, if these people decide that they do not want to cooperate, you could also charge them with aiding and abetting, obstruction of justice. I mean, there's a whole load of stuff that, you know, presented to the right people, and court can make a difference. So there's a lot of different ways to go to attend to it. Okay.
One thing I had is if if we're gonna do this and we present it to them, we have that. What can we do to? I'm trying to think of the best way to word this, and I apologize because I'm going off the cuff. Is there a jurisdictional issue that might arise, like, say, for example, it's a politician that voted for something in the District of Columbia and their constituents reside in, like, just for my sake, where I'm in Phoenix, would a sheriff have authority to approach an issue of this level in Phoenix when it was actually transpiring in the District of Columbia? Does that, you know what I mean? Is there a jurisdictional?
I understand that question, and it's very simply answered yes. And the reason it is that that person took an oath to represent you and the constituents, as they are called, the minions of your state. Therefore, anything that's not in the best interest of the people of that state that that person is supposed to represent is at the very least a violation of their oath of office. When it comes to a combinational problem where it affects more than just the state within which that person is a representative of, then it becomes a felony to breach your oath of office. There's a big difference in that. So you got to look all this stuff up. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of legalistic stuff on my website, and I'm not going to become a law library. But I do have assistance if I absolutely have to have it. And I'm going to start working on that tomorrow morning. So you guys can expect to start finding some links as to how do I go about this, what's the procedure, and that sort of thing. Okay?
As long as we can have access to that, I think it's going to clear up a lot of the consternation from the people listening, that at least if we're provided the links, we can do our own research, and that's fine, and I don't think folks have a problem with that. It's just right now it's a big thing, and there's that concern of retribution from the other side. So I really appreciate your taking the time to respond. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks,
and
Steve.
please, again, folks, when your question has been asked, if you will please press 1 again to unraise your hand, I would appreciate it. Okay, next is caller Matt from Georgia. Matt, you're live.
Hi there, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good, Matt. How are you?
I got a quick question. It's I saw online that some military and their families have been given notice to be prepared to bug out from the coastal areas, and I was wondering if he had any more information about that.
Yeah, I got some information on that. Those matters have been pretty much taken care of because at first it was an emergency order to evacuate, and that was changed to just be ready to go if need be. And it's not even in the green category or go category. It's in the maybe. And I expect that to be reduced to a rescinding of that particular notice, probably in the next few days. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. That's very much appreciated. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take one more caller. This is let's see. Trying to find the name here. Okay, we have Bob from North Carolina. Bob, you are live with Drake.
Hi, Drake. Well, I was going to relate an eyewitness account of the communist takeover of Ethiopia back during the Cold War era to kind of motivate the military a little more. But now, did I hear you say now today the military is going to do something, but they're waiting for the police and militia and citizens to do something first?
What it's a combinational deal. Federal authorities, that's your federal marshals and military and people of that nature, are looking for things to get started. As soon as things get started, you're going to see a coming out party. And they're not going to be coming out for us. They're going to come out to help us. Big difference. So that is, my suggestion is that as we are able to act relatively cleanly and safely in comparison to not knowing if the guy next to you in the military is some kind of snitch, makes all the difference in the world. Then the people who are actually on our side can show themselves without worry, because at that point there is an acknowledgement by the people as to the civilian authority for them to take whatever actions are necessary to restore our republic. That's basically where it lies. Okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. Okay. I'm going to take one more, and then I will let Melissa know that she will be up next. Okay. Grammy J, you are live with Drake.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, Grammy J.
Grammy J.
Hi, Grammy.
I love you all.
Love you,
Grammy.
Drake, I would like you to expound just a little bit more, please, on the military, because a lot of the people, based upon what you said on the last show, are thinking that there is no more hope for the military because of what you had said before. And I noticed you're giving new information tonight. But would you please expound a little bit more and very clearly let them know why they are still going to help us?
I'd be more than happy to. The situation is such that you have what are called patrols. A patrol is usually 3 or more people. That's the general rule of thumb. If you have 3 or more people, an individual can have a problem handling that problem if it comes to them. Okay, that is what's called a patrol. In this case, it's a rat patrol, meaning that the administration, and specifically Obama, ordered this, that information against someone that can be in any way proven that they are with the freedom movement, they get a bonus and an increase in rank. They may get even more than that depending on what the information is and who it goes against. The position that we had with the military before this came about was one that they were working diligently in order to put themselves in the position of being able to come out and help us openly and very rapidly. The rat patrol basically slowed that situation down. Now, as individuals start taking their actions, then those who are the good guys, and the percentages are astronomical. I'm going to say 80–85% being on our side, still need to know how to find out who the bad guys are. One of the easiest ways is for those people in the military to come out publicly on our side. All of the rats then will try to concentrate on certain key people, and in that way they'll expose themselves and can be arrested for their actions. This way you have an almost immediate cleaning of the military so that they can give us their full support. And that's basically the best explanation you're going to get that I know of. Okay?
Thank you, Drake.
Welcome. It sounds like somebody's standing on the mute button again.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. It was stuck. Okay, Drake, I'm going to ask you a little favor. There was somebody in our chat room that sent an urgent email, and because you're not on Skype, I then forwarded it to your email. I need you to check that. And it's a urgent question for either you or Minuteman. Okay, and in the meantime, we are going to take, let's see. Okay, we are going to take Melissa from Nevada. Melissa, you are live with Drake, and thank you for your patience, honey.
Oh, thank you, and hello, everyone.
Hello, Melissa.
Over the weekend, there was a petition on COBRA's site for people to sign, and, of course, I signed it. And on Before It's News, there was an article, Put Bankers Behind Bars, says Soros-sponsored Avaz. And I just wanted to know if you had been aware of that, and is there anything that anybody needs to worry about?
I don't think so. Just to make it real plain and simple. I'm getting a lot of things, concerns, worries, traps, this is and that's. The government's ready for us. The problem the government's got is that a lot of the people that would normally go along with them are no longer with them. A lot of the people that they were counting on having what would be called strength in numbers aren't there anymore. So they can put out all the fun and games and, you know, we're going to do this to you if you do that and that sort of thing that they want. I'm going to put most of that into the propaganda category to include misinformation on a combination of finance and a bunch of other things. So don't be too worried or too concerned about things that look different but aren't what they seem to be. In other words, you'll see troop movements, and this is a good example. You'll see them all over the place. You'll see equipment moving around. There's a combinational value to that. first of all, command knows where it's at. Secondly, the majority of the command, to be quite frank with everybody, is on our side. They would much rather have a strict code of conduct of the Code of Military Justice directing them as to what to do than some politician with an agenda, a lot of money. Just that simple. And that's basically where it all lies. They want their freedom as much as we want ours. So there you go. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Okay, we've got, let's see here. We had somebody that was holding for quite some time here. We have John. John, you are live with Drake. John, you are live with Drake. Hello, John. Well, I guess maybe John stepped away. Okay, well, we'll leave John there, and we will try, let's see, Melanie from New York. Melanie, you are live with Drake.
Hi, thank you very much. Hi, Drake. Hi, Minuteman. Lady Dragon, good evening.
Good evening.
Please forgive my lack of clarity, but I need to be very clear on who it is I can arrest. So can I only arrest from the top down to the governors, or can I make, say, a citizen's arrest of the judge in my town that I think is totally in fraud for many of the things that she's done? It's like that list that I was looking at that you put up on your site, all the people who signed the Homeland Security, or the other thing that happened on Friday. I mean, I wouldn't know where to go to get those people.
Okay. You're talking about some local people as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. There's certain legal limitations on a judge, just as there are on lawyers, and those legal limitations go to the fact that they are not allowed to write law or legislate from the bench. Those two things are absolute no-nos. And if there has been a total subjugation or change of the application of law, this has to be clearly stated and clearly used in an exceptional manner. Any other way is illegal, and the judge is responsible for that. Now, the problem is thinking and knowing doesn't do you any good. You need to go into the archives, you need to go into the records and find which documentations of cases and rulings gives you precedent, or, you know, hey, it wasn't just once, I got 2 or 3 of them here, and I don't know how many more there are, in order to present a case or something of that nature to either, what do they call that? There's a board that determines whether or not a lawyer is acting correctly, and there's also one that does the same thing for judges. And then to go the step further, federal judges can remove local judges if they have overstepped their bounds too far.
But I thought most of them are corrupt.
Well, what I'm saying is you have to find, what you have to do is you have to go be a snoop in terms of the records, find this stuff, and find somebody to present it to. Now, you can present this in different forms, but I'm not going to go into the absolute legalistics required to do all this. You're talking about affidavit, other things.
Okay. Right. Okay.
All right.
Well, how would I go about, like, going and arresting one of the congressmen, say, because I live in New York and one of the congressmen is on that list. So what do? I just go to his house and with the sheriff and a couple of people to arrest him?
That could work, actually. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend using the voting record as the crime committed. And in this manner, what you do is you have to file an affidavit and a bunch of other things. I'm going to be posting some legal sites on my site that everybody can go to. It's AmericanNationalMilitia.com, and this will be under, hopefully under information or legalist, either way. And it'll present a whole bunch of different things that can be done. Now, there are general ways to do things. Then there are specifics. That gets into state, county, local, etc. You have to know a whole bunch of things in order to go about things absolutely correctly. And
you don't have to tell me that. I know.
Okay, so
yes.
What I'm going to do is try to offer a link, a combination of links that will give you the general manner in which to conduct such an operation. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, Drake. I was taking another caller. Let's see. Thank you very much, Melanie, by the way.
Oh, Melanie, if she's still listening. It's called the Judicial Review Board.
Thank you.
Judicial Review Board. You're still on, Melanie.
Oh, so what do you mean Judicial Review Board?
It's a judicial review board that examines the behavior of judges. I've had to use one in Arkansas before on a case against my son.
Oh, that's great. You know what? I almost went to jail last week because of what I was doing with a judge. But, yeah, so thank you for that because I have to go back Wednesday.
Well, just look into the Judicial Review Board and make sure, like Greg said, you get all your facts in order. If you just call them up complaining because you don't agree with what the judge ruled, they will not see your case.
Okay. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
I knew somebody knew what I was talking about.
Thank you very much, Melanie. Okay, Drake, a couple more quick questions from the chat and that here. Let's see. We've got would like to know or ask if we can expect to see news from Keenan, post from Drake, as he said last Wednesday. Any latest from Keenan?
Yeah. I'm going to be sending you an email here in a few minutes.
Okay.
Might be tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I will sanitize it so that nobody can get it, but it's signed by the man in question, sent to me personally by the man in question, and I have his permission to post it. So off and down the road we go.
Okay, and again the question, do we have any idea at what point in this current series of events is mainstream TV going to be commandeered to make a broadcast?
The commandeering, I'm not sure exactly as to the date. In terms of mainstream media, I think this needs to be started to be outed on mainstream. It appears to me that the military is unable, for whatever reason, be that the rat patrols or whatever, to take the action that would assist us in culminating this very quickly. So I have asked or requested permission from them to go ahead and start outing everything. And this is what I'm doing in a combination of preparatory work with the website. So it's coming. I'm going to try to do something possibly next week. We'll see. Okay?
Okay. Another quick question. Are the Oath Keepers involved, or are they going to be involved?
They're absolutely going to have to be involved. They don't have a choice according to what their parameters of operation are in terms of law enforcement, military, etc. There are certain legal constraints placed upon law enforcement and the military in terms of not disarming people and things of that nature. Things that went on during Katrina in New Orleans is one of the reasons that Oath Keepers has become so popular. So, yes, they're involved, not officially, and they're not taking any as such public action as of yet. Okay.
Thank you very much, Drake. Let's see. what has happened with the military? Are they possibly waiting for the people's reaction to the arms treaty that will be signed? Well, they're saying on July 17th. I think that's an error. It was the 27th, was it not?
Yes.
Yes, it was 27th.
Okay. Were they maybe supposed to come forward at that time?
Well, my understanding is that is one of the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, in terms of them taking action. They wanted to see what the reaction is going to be, and I think we're giving them enough action to give them an idea that we're serious about it, and they can now take their actions at any point they really see it necessary. Now, there's a lot of depending on what happens in terms of the treaty, in terms of the number of people who vote for it or against it or whatever. There's a whole bunch of ifs that are still unanswered until the thing actually occurs. So we got to wait.
Okay. And then just on the side there, Drake, did you receive the email that I sent you, the urgent email for you or Minuteman?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Just a few minutes ago, I told you that there was a listener or somebody in our chat room that had a very urgent message that I sent you. Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. All right, we have John. John, you are live with Drake and Minuteman and Lady Dragon.
Hello, John.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, John.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. You need to speak up a little bit, please, John.
Okay, sorry, I got something with my voice here, so I can't speak too loud. But anyway, first I want to make a little comment. I don't know how this thing about going to the FBI is going to help in any way, because I look back at all the protests that happened with the Occupy movement and several and similar peaceful protests around the world. And we've all seen the results where the authorities responded with brutal force. And that was just a peaceful protest. They were not even asking for the arrest of anybody. Now, I can only imagine how the response, how much worse it's going to be if you start asking for somebody high up and a high official to be arrested. I may be wrong here. I'm not saying I know everything, but this could either lead to people being put on a bus and sent to FEMA camp, or if there's some kind of a revolt, it's going to give them just cause to call for martial law. Anyway, my question is for Lady Dragon.
Okay.
Dragon, do you want to address a comment first before I ask my question?
Yeah, go ahead. I could hardly hear the question.
First of all, you got a problem with dogs.
Okay, I had to mute him. I muted him out. Were you able to hear the question, Drake?
Yes, I heard the statement.
And I have a brain.
Well, first of all, 95% of the military said that they would not honor martial law if it were declared. The second part of this is that the so-called high officials are actually our employees, for one thing, and they have not been acting correctly, and some of the things they have been doing are grossly negligent and illegal. In that context, and presented correctly, arrestment or detaining of senators or congressmen, especially within the areas that they represent, is usually considered a correct procedure. Now, it's best to take local law enforcement and maybe the FBI with you for their detaining and arrest. Now, if a citizens group finds themselves without law enforcement with them, then what they should do is detain, make sure the person understands they are being detained so that they can be transported to law enforcement, at which point you have to present the correct paperwork to formulate an arrest. And some of these things as to what correct paperwork is needed will be on the website shortly.
Did that answer your question, John?
Well, first of all, that wasn't a question. That was a comment. I think Drake wanted to comment on my comment. My question was okay. My question was for Lady Dragon.
Okay. Lady Dragon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. What's your question,
okay, honey,
please?
this is a question for you.
Okay. The question for you is a person by the name of France Cusson, Cusson, is he related to you in any way?
What does that have to do with what we're talking about here, please?
Well, because I found his name, he seems to be connected to you somehow.
What it has to do? So what related to me? I don't understand. So what?
Well, if you answer my question, I'll be happy to explain to you. If you answer my question, I'll be happy to explain to you what it has to do with it.
I want to know why, first of all, you asked me that question. We're talking, it's a subject, you know. I know a lot of people.
John, might I suggest that you email Lady Dragon?
Fair enough.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your call, John. Okay, we have Linda in Omaha. Linda, you are live.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Linda.
All right. Drake, I have some important information for you in Minuteman that I feel I started to put it on Facebook, but I thought I would need your approval because it very much affects what you are planning to do. And I need to speak to you personally, I assume, since email and Facebook and other methods of contact are being watched. You might have received an email from Denise about it. So if I could learn how I might do that, it's something I learned about the day before yesterday from a source that I think probably is very reliable.
And you're afraid
Yes, I don't want to make it public because it might affect the outcome of what we're trying to do.
What you want to do is you want to get a hold of a track phone. You know what that is?
Yes, I do have one.
Okay. First of all, I tell you to get in touch with Terry Hinkle. That's Queen Songbird.
Yes.
Let's see here. Let me see how I can do this.
I believe I gave Linda my telephone number, too. If she cares to give me a call, she's more than welcome to do that.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to suggest that you get in touch with Terry. Queen Songbird at gmail.com. Now, that's Queen Queen Songbird, 3 words put together, at gmail.com. And you can call her at 478-374-4132 if you want to use your track phone and talk to her.
Okay.
She is one of the better contacts that I know of, and hopefully she won't mind me putting her phone number out.
Okay.
Now they're going to be watching, so what you're going to have to do is code it. Now I can arrange. The only problem is arranging the contact. Once that point is reached, let me know, and I'll arrange relatively secure communications. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Drake.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, let's see. We have Mary from California. Mary, you are live.
Yeah, hi. Thanks so much, everybody, and hi, Drake. Drake, you had mentioned how the arrests aren't going to happen below the governor level, and I'm wondering, does that or does that not include the county courts? And I'm asking that because you had mentioned about you need to check that particular judge. So my question is that kind of a broad base, include all county courts or not?
Hello? Drake? I don't know if he heard you or not. Minuteman, could you answer that?
I'm sorry. I heard. I just had my mute on. I was typing.
Uh-oh, those mute buttons, they're sticky, Drake, I'm telling you.
I think it's a communist plot against my sanity. Basically, it's going to affect everybody in every position in government, and that includes local as well as higher up. When you reorganize the government to the extent and to the change that is coming, specifically with judges, you're looking at reversion to common law. You're looking at removing the combination military and maritime legalities from our land courts and putting them back at sea. There's a whole bunch of things that are coming about in terms of the changes that I know are coming. So that, yes.
Okay. So when you say below the, what do you mean? Like county assessors and mayors and things like that won't be included? Is that kind of what you mean when you say?
Anybody that holds a government position, all the way from the dog catcher up.
Okay.
Okay, and the people decide whether or not you need a dog catcher. You decide whether or not you want expenditures. You decide whether or not you need a council or a mayor. There's a variety of things that goes into this. The structure needs simply to be, and this is the crux of it, or the most important part I've found, is that we determine the structure of the government and have to put it together in such a manner that this can never happen again. Just that's the simplicity of it. And that goes to all the way from the dog catcher up.
Thank you, Drake.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, Denise. Hello.
I'm sorry, Drake. I was getting another caller on the line. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm juggling. Okay, let's see. We got that one. Okay. Sasha, you are live.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Drake. I have my question is partially a question and partially the kind of information that I would like to bounce off of somebody. Maybe it's important. The first half is question whether you guys have any contact with scribes or whatever you call them, people who are in touch with galactics. Is there a contact, a real contact?
I have a fairly regular contact depending on the need of the situation. I normally do not exercise that contact unless it's something that's extraordinarily important or they need to let me know of information that I need to be aware of.
Okay. Is it a two-way contact or they just tell you and you have no say in it?
No, it's a conversation. It's sort of like we are speaking, only it goes on in your head, basically in English or whatever your preferred language is. So, yes, what do you mean I got to do such, and they'll explain it or whatever needs to be done.
The reason I'm asking, I'm probably the light worker because I woke up more than 20 years ago. And currently I am supposed to enlighten people and kind of wake them up, but it's a very hard sell. And sometimes I take it personally because they look at me like I've got three heads on me. And I kind of tend to shy away from pressing the issue anymore. But in the back of my mind, I keep asking myself, can you come up with a scenario that would wake up 7 billion people in a hurry? And I think I'm up to something. I'll share it with you. From previous programs, not just yours, I was listening to Tollett, and he was telling about Andromeda Council and biospheres hanging around without too much to do. I guess they brought more than warriors. They brought ships that will accommodate the medical needs. Especially one is assigned to just 3D people. And that gave me an idea. And it's already on their mandate to take care of sick of this world. And I don't know what they're waiting for. If they could start a program, maybe just a little bit, maybe a few thousand people, maybe 10,000 people around the world with diseases that have no hope, the catastrophic diseases, and somehow help them and cure them of stuff like cancer and other diseases. That would be the best PR in the world. Can you imagine? These people will be talking 24 hours a day nonstop like they're on drugs, but they're on speed. And their families will be talking. And in 2 weeks, half of the population probably will know that galactics are trying to talk in every program, everywhere. They're trying to convince us that they have benign contact with us. Instead of convincing us in writing, why don't they do something real?
That goes to the program. And the program largely hinges on us, in terms of the people of the planet, setting ourselves free as far as we can set ourselves free without doing any harm to those that we take into custody. The basic plan is that after, and I mean this very closely, very sincerely, very really, after we implement our actions, then we will start seeing ETs. We're not going to see them, as far as I know, until after we take our actions. Now, these actions have to be nonviolent, arrests, simple custody, not going out and shooting somebody because you got a grudge against them for something. It means that if there's a problem, it can be adjudicated no matter what it is. Now, secondly, you have to know that the military is well aware of the ET's plan, and the military is having their own problems. So that leaves it to the people. As we take our action and start making arrests and incarcerations of some of the people that are most guilty of treasonous activities, then that shows ET that we have risen above the actions of the bad guys. In other words, we don't just go shoot them. We actually adjudicate them. You have committed a crime. Now, they have stated on varying occasions through varying means that they have been taking people. I have not found so far any physical evidence of that, other than that the meeting of the Bilderbergs was not attended by a whole bunch of people that were supposed to be there, and these were critical people. Supposedly, E.T. had snatched them. Now, you can say E.T., you can say angels, whatever. But the program is laid out that we are to stand up as free individuals. We have to realize our freedom to the extent where we are willing to pay whatever price it takes of our fortune, our lives, whatever it may be, in order to start the action to set ourselves free. At that point, then the ETs can assist us more openly. At the same time, you're going to have the military fall in with us so that they can make sure that we do act in a judicial manner rather than with a mob mentality. We do not want violence. That's the big no-no. If we act correctly, in other words, we do not drop ourselves down to the bad guys level of just heart attacking, accidenting, or killing people arbitrarily, but actually, you know, it's not been stated that you are going to have X, whatever the penalty might be. It's been stated that you are being charged with a crime and you're going to come with us, is the big difference. When you don't harm somebody, and I mean you're not supposed to fall down the stairs 5 times on the way to the local clink. That's also a no-no. You treat these people like you would want to be treated, and you take them and you simply put them in a cell. When you do these things, you take this kind of action. This proves not only to ET but to the world that there's been a big change, both in society of the instant gratification to pull the trigger. Well, you put the gun back in the holster and you say, I am armed if need be. I do not want to do that, and you need to come with us. And 9 times out of 10, most policemen and law enforcement will attest to the fact they don't have to use their guns. They don't have to pull them out. I know of several officers who did full careers, 20, 30 years, and never pulled their gun out of the holster other than to clean it. So it can be done. It has to be done correctly, and that is the parameter of the operation as it's been related to me. Okay?
Thank you, Sasha.
Appreciate
the call very much. Okay, Drake, we have a couple of callers from all around the world. We've got a Puerto Rican call, and we have a couple more calls from Canada. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's bring on Miguel.
Okay.
Miguel, you are calling from Puerto Rico, correct, sir?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, welcome, Miguel.
Thank you. I really very happy I talked to you today, Drake and Mintman and Sage Dragon. Well, I've been I've been following Mr. Drake since the interview with Mr. Wilcox, and I just have a question. It's very clear that Mr. Drake and Mintman have knowledge of the law and how this is to take place, all the arrests and all that. But my question is, have any of you made any arrests? Due to the fact that you have the knowledge to do this and show others how to do this. That's my first question.
Well, basically, I have expressed that the legalities you're looking for are going to be starting to be posted on the website, my website, so that everybody can be informed as to how to proceed and what to do and how to act. And if you'll hold on just a second, I got to turn this phone off. It's apparently feedbacking.
Miguel, meanwhile, I have a question for you, please.
Yes, please.
I just got a news. Somebody just sent me a news that 1,700 Puerto Rico police got arrested. Have you heard about that?
No, that's not correct. Hope it would be fine. It would be great because we have been having in the last years a lot of police abuse down here, and right now we're going through great criminality all over. You know, it's really awful. But police are part of the problem. They're not well trained. They don't know how to really acquaint people, and that's bad. It's not that they're bad; it's that the training is not really what it should be, and that's a pity because I know most of them are good people. But no, those police haven't been arrested. You may have one or two who have been arrested because of doing some wrong things like protecting some drug dealers and some, but never that kind of numbers you just gave.
Thank you, because someone just sent me an email saying that CNN, well, of course, CNN.
No, I think that's inaccurate.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Did I answer your question, Miguel?
Yes, and I also need to ask you another question. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I've been living here for 49 years now. I'm 59.
Okay.
And as you know, Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States. My question is, if the United States is really liberated and going back to being a republic, what will happen with the territories that are held at this time under the United States flag? Will the Puerto Rican people and the people from Guam and other territories be given the opportunity to also get back their sovereignty?
Yes. The ideal comes to a simple point. With the removal of the corporate government, that means that the District of Columbia becomes a state. It does not have the legal status of a state because it is a corporate entity. In other words, it's sort of like the United Nations or an embassy. It is a foreign entity on our soil. The territories will be addressed as territories at first. There is paperwork that needs to be taken care of, and then a public vote on whether or not an area, whether it's Guam or Puerto Rico or wherever it might be, you will have the opportunity to decide whether you want to be sovereign in terms of totally sovereign or to become a state as a part of the nation of the United States. And that's basically part of what the plan is. Okay?
It's perfect. I think you've answered thoroughly my questions, and I really appreciate all that you're doing, and I know it entitles a lot of sacrifice from all of you, and if we're not careful, it can be scary sometimes, but I don't think we have really, having people like you, we don't have nothing to fear. We have to continue holding our minds with peaceful and loving thoughts so all this can be accomplished peacefully. And hopefully the people that are not doing the right will understand and will start really giving way to the light. And I hope that's the way this transpires. I really thank all of you for what you do.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you very much for your call, sir.
Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you, Miguel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're getting low on time. We're down to 34 minutes, and we'll need the last 2 or 3 minutes for wrap-up. So we're going to try and get to everybody's questions. We have Siggy from South Carolina. Siggy, thank you for your patience and waiting.
You're welcome. Hi, Drake. I love you. I think you're great. All you guys are great. I have 2 little quick questions. Number 1, how have you stayed safe all this time? How have you not been killed? I worry about you. I mean, it sounds silly, but how have you stayed safe?
I'm sort of lucky in some ways, for one thing, and secondly, I've got a combination of protections, both with ETs and the good guys. So it's helped me tremendously in that respect. What's your second question?
My second question is, you know, I was with Obama hook, line, and sinker for a long time. You know, I really believed in him, waited 4 hours to vote for him, and now I find out that he's, you know, this. And then my question is, do you think that the black community is really going to have a hard time getting behind all this? Because, you know, they really have put everything into Obama, and I'm afraid that there's going to be like a lot of riots and stuff. What do you think about that?
From what I understand, my contacts have told me that there's a great dissatisfaction in terms of playing the race card, and that dissatisfaction comes from 2 different areas. One, the financiers were counting on Obama to take certain actions. The second part is from the so-called racial entity of wanting to make sure that there's representation. This is the first black man in the presidency and things of this nature. And there's going to be a good effort to keep him in office on that basis alone. Now, however, there is a problem in terms of these entities, and by entities I'm talking about large groups of people who have been relatively dissatisfied with what they've gotten out of that representation. It has not worked quite the way they wanted it to and what they were told it was going to be. So the dissatisfaction is not just limited to certain people thinking that the man's not done what he should have done at all, and other people that say, well, we were supposed to get a little bit more than what we got, and that sort of thing. Now, you have to remember that several things have transpired. Some of the large financial backers have pulled away from Obama for the simple fact that he's done things that have cost them a lot of money. They made investments and they were supposed to get their way, and that didn't happen. Consequently, their money is not going to support him. So you have that factor. You have a combination of the idea that, well, you know, maybe his second term. Well, I'm sorry, but when a person says something, dealing with the idea of raising people up out of poverty and taking care of their needs, not their wants and greeds, but their needs, and helping them become more than what they are now. When that has not happened, when that has not transpired, that puts these people in the situation of needing to really think it over. Do you want more of the same? Because that's what you're going to get. If you don't want more of the same, we need to change. And I'm going to express that I don't like either one of the candidates, and I would suggest a write-in. And I'll further suggest Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura. I can name a whole bunch of names that would do an extraordinary job in that particular office for a variety of reasons. But these are my suggestions. When people actually take a look at what's been done, they'll find that the advantage is not there for them. The things that are coming about will be to their advantage. This is why I'm working on what I'm working. This is why I am trying to attempt to deal with the principles involved in both governance and finance. I want to see this country set free. I gave an oath when I joined the service back in 1966, and it don't have an expiration date, and I'm thankful that it doesn't. And I look at my kids, I look at my grandkids, I look at other people's kids. They deserve a future better than what is coming if we don't change things. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Drake. Thank you, Denise. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night, Siggy, and thanks for the call. And okay, John, you are live. Thank you very much, sir, for your patience.
Yes, hello?
Yes, John, you're live.
Drake, I was wondering, when are you and Rick Lights are planning to do your first arrest? Because there's 5 of us here sitting, listening to the show, and we would like to come down to the day, on the day you're going to do this, and we'll bring the camera crew down and we'll film this and post it up on YouTube so everybody in the world can see, and that way there'll be a lot of validity to how these arrests could be done. So could you enlighten us onto when and where you plan to do your first arrest, both you and Rick Light?
I'm going to say that I'd rather not say. Rick?
I'm going to take the same stance, and let me tell you why. Me and Drake might not be the first two to make the arrest. It will depend on who has what available at the right times. going to depend on who it involves. So I'm with Drake on that. I don't think that would be a safe thing to do. It would give a heads up. Know this, that we will have it documented as resident.
Excuse me, Rick, you're breaking up again. Rick, if you can take a couple steps to the right or left, you're breaking up a little bit again.
We'll try 3 steps to the right again. How's this?
Okay. I will suggest that maybe like Lady Dragon has suggested, when you guys go, or when anybody goes in a large group or whatever to make your arrests, that's, you know, people with cell phone cameras or recorders or whatever, document what you're doing.
That's correct. And that documentation will be made available, and as the arrest progresses, then I believe that we'll be able to oblige John with his request.
Yes. Thank you very much, John. Okay, let's see. We have Richard from Ottawa, another Canadian. Richard, you are live.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Richard.
Drake? How are you, Brother Drake?
Very good, sir.
Yeah, good, good. I support you guys 100%, man, and it's amazing. All the things I've been listening for the last few months there, it's amazing, and I mean, people don't realize how bad it's going to get and how this world's going to be shaken. You know, everything you talk about, angels and everything, amen, you know. The thing is Jesus Christ there is going to come eventually, and what's going to happen is all these entities there, like all the governments in the States right now, and in Canada, myself, where I live in Canada, people don't realize that a lot of it is spiritual too, eh? And there's good and evil. It's a spiritual warfare as much as it is physical. People don't realize that death is only a doorway, you know. But the spiritual body we have, you know, that's what's been fighting right now. There's a physical and a spiritual, and what's going on right now, it says clearly in the scripture that everything that will be shaken, anything that can be shaken will be shaken. And it's going to come to a point there that what you guys are doing, it's amazing. You know, you're standing straight to the truth, and the Word of God will keep us faith, you know. But the thing is nobody saw anything yet. They don't know how serious it's going to get, you know. It's going to get so serious, it's amazing. But the thing is we can stand. It says the truth will set you free, you know. It clearly says that the truth will set you free, and it says clearly who is able to stand to the end, you know. Our faith in Christ here, we're going to stand to the end. And when Jesus Christ comes back, it's going to be a new world, a new heaven, a new earth, you know. But only before 1,000 years. But the spiritual entities are there, amen. And you know, there's all those governments in the States. They don't realize they're worshiping, like you said. We talked about you're talking about Luciferian. They worship the devil, but Jesus Christ is coming back, and it says there's going to be 1,000 on your right that's going to fall, and 10,000 on your left. And you know, it's going to get so bad, this world. It's not going to get better until there's going to be just like a childbirth, you know. It's going to get very bad, and we're standing for the truth there. It's amazing, you know. I mean, but the thing is we're going to live a beautiful world like you wish for your grandkids and your wife and everybody, because it's going to get better. But we have to stand firm, you know, because Jesus Christ is coming. But before he comes, like you say, there's going to be a bad thing. You have to stand, and it says, like you say, you say the entities. I met an entity myself, you know. When I was younger, I met one. I studied a lot, and I met one, and I know what it looks like. And the one I met was beautiful, was transparent, and I was scared. I couldn't even move my arms or anything. And the thing is because it's scary. It's just like Daniel in the scripture. He met angels many times, and he fell dead. Well, it's because it's scary, because it's supernatural.
We have a whole bunch of other callers that would like to also express themselves a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sorry. I'm just excited, and I'm a bit nervous. Their first time I call you guys. So
I understand.
So what do you make of my question is that do you agree that the spiritual warfare as much as it is physical warfare, and about the angels, like you're saying, the good angels are going to conquer the evil angels, because there's 1/3 of evil angels that followed Lucifer, and Jesus Christ is the one.
Yes. It's a combination right now. We have to take our action first, as I stated to that one caller. And as we take our action, then you're going to see more results. And I thank you for your call.
Richard, thank you very, very much. Okay, we have Pat from Mississippi. Pat, you are live with Drake and Minuteman.
Thank you, Diddy.
Lady Dragon. Thank you, Pat.
I had an email to you about the thing that
Lady Dragon took care of a while ago. It was about the 1,700 policemen getting arrested in Puerto Rico. I watched the CNN clip, and they showed the FBI arresting these police officers that were corrupt. And I was wondering if maybe they were cleaning up down there around where our money goes to the Federal Reserve and IRS.
Well, it's a good possibility that they are. Now, if you would send us a report, some kind of a link that you might have that showed you that. This way we can get with certain people and verify it and actually post it. I mean, the cleanup is going on all over the planet. It's not just here. It's not just Puerto Rico. It's all over the planet. So if you could send us that information, that would be great. Is that possible?
I'll find it and send it to you. That was I thought when I found it.
Excuse me, Pat. We keep hearing that there were 77 officers arrested, not 1,700.
Well, it said on the news clip 1,700.
Okay.
I think
on the clip it says 1,700. That's what they said. But the problem with that clip, it was said on CNN, and then on the 11th of July, but it has been removed, and no one can find the clip. Somebody just sent it to me. That's why I asked Miguel in Puerto Rico if he knew anything about it. So, you never know. You don't know if it's true or not with them.
I'm going to find it and send it to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you very much. Okay, we have Robert. Robert, you are live.
Hello, how are you today? Drake,
Good,
I'd like to ask you an important question, Drake. I've heard from Benjamin Fulford that the reason why the arrests hadn't been going forth is because this evil cabal has approximately, according to him, and I've heard this from other people too, about 30,000 security forces, who are highly trained people, probably highly bribed people and everything. And, of course, as you probably know, the evil cabal would like nothing more than to have the bloodiest civil war in the world start. And what suggestions do you have to thwart that sort of thing? Like if you go to arrest Soros or something like that, you're likely to come up against some of this stuff. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, first of all, we do a lot of intelligence work before we take any actions. The second part of it is that whatever force necessary is what we'll show up with. If need be, in just a few hours, we can have thousands of people at any given location in the United States as it sits right now. So if
are you talking about the militias?
Like that, well, if there's a situation like that, if there's a situation like that, I will guarantee you that there's probably going to be some gunfire. First of all, the people have been told no since they were born, generally, and now they're being told, oh, yes, you can, and they're in a position where they are pissed enough, and enough of them are armed, that any security force that might want to try to stand in the way is in for a really serious problem. Now, as something like that would unfold, the military is apt to step in. And I'm talking about a military training flight accidentally dropping some bombs in the wrong place or whatever it takes. They do not know what the capability and reach is that we have. And I know enough about what you're talking about to suggest that this number is split up in varying locations. So you've got a lesser number than taking on that large of a number all at once. So there's a lot of things that goes into this. And part of it is that just because somebody has availability of monies, supposedly, does not necessarily mean that they can afford a large security force. That is extraordinarily expensive, for one thing. Number two, these people also know that they don't know when we're going to show up. It might be in the middle of the night. We could snatch them while they're at lunch when they only got 5 or 6 people around them. It varies. So when they don't know what our plan on the football field is going to be, we're liable to get a touchdown. And if these things are planned and planned well by people who are experienced with such things, there should not be that much of a problem. Okay?
Thank you so much, caller. Okay, we have Nima. Nima, you are live. Uh-oh. Nima?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we
Hello,
can hear
Nima.
you.
Okay, thank you very much for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Nima.
I don't mean to throw off the subject. I just want to bring up an important idea that nobody seems to bring up that I think is very important. Is the French Grand Orient Masonic Lodge. You know anything about that?
I don't. Drake, do you know anything about the French Masonic Lodge?
Yes, well, I know a lot about it. What about it?
Are they good guys? Are they bad guys? Like, what's their situation?
Well, it depends on who it is specifically, more so than just a lodge. You've got a lot of people that are members or associates of lodges and secret organizations and things of this nature that are not bad guys, whether the lodge or group or whatever it is may be specifically evil or whatever. So there's already been some, I'm gonna out some privileged information. There's already been some splits in several of these secret organizations where the good guys have stated, no, we're not going to play that game any longer. The other part of it is that in some cases, the Treasury took a walk. So all of a sudden, your, quote, group might find itself with a bank account in pennies instead of thousands of dollars. So there's a lot of reorientation in terms of what these people are doing, how they're acting, and things of this nature, whereas before the freedom movement started to build, they didn't feel that they had any option. This is like everybody being afraid because they'll come and get you in the middle of the night sort of thing. This is not nearly as truthful as everybody would like to think. So that's, there's your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Nima. Okay. Caller, you are live with Drake, Minuteman, and Lady Dragon.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are live with Drake, Minuteman, and Lady Dragon.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, I'll keep it short. First, I want to say thanks to everyone for everything that you're doing and reporting and coming to us with the information that we need. For you, Drake, I have a couple questions. I'll keep it short. I know we're short on time. The first thing I wanted to point out is it seems that there needs to be a system to replace the current system. And do you have tangible evidence that a system is being formed? And if so, the military is waiting. On your blog, you state that the military wants us to sit back and watch the fireworks, and if needed, they will call us. But it seems now that they're waiting for us to take the first initiative. Can you state clearly what the stages are? Is it the military is going to kick in, then the people, and then after we establish this system to replace the current system, then the ETs are going to show up, or is it, do I have the three shells sort of out of order? Could you put those three?
The order is very simple. We take our action, and as we start taking our action, the military and ETs fall in with us.
So we take the first initiative, then the military, and then after we establish the new system, the ETs will show up.
Yes, basically. The new system will be implemented after the military throws in with us. Then, as I've been told, your ETs or angels or whatever are supposed to come and assist us with things such as technologies to clean the oceans, technologies to heal the people, technologies to allow for an environment where you can grow things and all that sort of stuff. Okay?
Okay. All right. I have other questions, but for the sake of time, I will call in on the next show. Thank you.
Thank you. We got another caller?
Yes. We have one more caller, and I have a couple more questions I wanted to give you, Drake, from the chat. Okay, a specific question. There are hundreds of U.S. Armed Forces radio and TV stations all over the world that can be used by the White Hats to tell the troops worldwide what we are expecting them to, and how we are expecting them to help us. On the multitude of satellite feeds here in Asia, there are feeds from the Pentagon as well as from the Pentagon channel. They're wondering if if that could be used, I guess, if the Armed Forces radio stations would be usable between us and the military.
Yes, it will be. All of the military channels, to include news channels, will be used to do a combination of information in terms of informing people what is going on, and at the same time offer some education, primarily here in the States, but worldwide, that we have changed our operational procedures and governmental structure so that people will know what's going on and how to address the new system. Okay?
Yeah, because there was kind of a semi-comment. It says if the White Hats in the Pentagon were able to take over these stations, we would see a major change in mainstream media, as they would be then forced to follow the Armed Forces radio and TV network news releases. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there's another one. It was basically the same thing. Any updates on the possible support from churches throughout the United States?
The update that I'm going to give is that I have been making contacts with different churches across the country, and at the point that our country is set free, listen for the bells. Everybody's supposed to ring it.
Okay. We have about 3 minutes left. Let's see. Caller from area code 562. You are live with Drake, Minuteman, and Lady Dragon.
Hi, how are you? My question is there a place where there is a list of, or where would I go to try and find one or ask about one, a list of the sheriffs in the various counties and whether they're approachable or not? I don't know really many people in my area, but I was told that the sheriff in our county is pretty crooked. So I was just wondering if there was a list somewhere where we could look.
That I'm not aware of. Minuteman, do you know of a list like that?
I would suggest getting hold of Sheriff Mack. Sheriff Mack is in contact with most constitutional sheriffs in the United States, and I do believe he has a list as such.
Terrific. Thank you.
Okay, and we'll see with Global Voice if we can't get a hold of Sheriff Mack and see if he has such a list that would be publishable.
I believe I can arrange that.
Okay. Thank you so much, caller. That was a wonderful question. Thank you very much. Okay. Area code 870. You are live with Drake, Minuteman, and Lady Dragon.
Hey, Drake. Good to talk to you again.
This is Bob from Arkansas.
Hi, Bob.
And Drake, I sent you an email with the title, The Procedures for a Sheriff's Bill of Review. It's something I learned a few years ago. It's a safe way for anyone with criminal complaints or evidence of criminal activity to do an affidavit, open a U.S. District Court evidence file, get a case number, everything assigned to the jacket, get as many affidavits from injured parties in like manner put in there, grab a handful of subpoenas, and then you get a sheriff's deputy, you contact all the people involved, you send them a list of questions they have to answer, they have to show up at the designated time under penalty of contempt of court, and there's no danger to the person bringing the action because they don't even have to be there. But you have 3 notaries and 2 court recorders. The deputy takes the roll call at the appointed time. The people read their statements into the record. The 2 recorders record it. The 3 notaries sign off on it, and the witnesses subpoenaed sign off on it. And then you take that evidence to a private attorney general or a district attorney to turn over to the grand jury.
That sounds excellent. I just sent out your email to our people. I'll see about validating this information with a couple of people I know so that I'm sure that it's as correct as possible, and then we'll post it on the website. Okay?
Thank you very much, sir.
It was done in Texas, and it was before they did discovery, before the gold and silver was taken out of the economy.
Okay.
Thank you very much, caller. And I regret that we are about out of time. I would like to give this opportunity for just a moment's closing statements from Drake Minuteman and Lady Dragon.
Well, I only got one thing to say. Get her done.
How did I know that's what you were going to say, Drake? Okay,
yes, I will second that motion. Folks, look, your freedom lies in your hands. Come on, let's go.
Can't wait to hear Lady Dragon say, get her done.
What I would suggest is getting people together with lawyers in their town, too, and like the gentlemen and notaries and stuff like that. And also journalists. Where are the journalists beside me? I cannot believe there's only me in the entire world, you know what I'm saying? So, like I always said to people, gather at least a dozen people and move forward with this, you know what I'm saying?
Wonderful, wonderful. Great advice, as always.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we will look forward to everyone. I'm so glad that we made it through our program without being bumped off. And we will see everyone on Wednesday. It would be at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And until then, everyone, keep in touch. Visit AmericanNationalMilitia.com. Visit Ramsite.com. Visit LadyDragon.com. And stick with us at Global Voice 2012 Facebook or globalvoice2012.us for all the news that is the news. And we thank all of our callers for your patience and time. And with that, everyone have a wonderful couple of next days, and we will see you all on Wednesday.